right, again, the AFC East is on the menu this week. We already covered the New York Jets, and we also, we haven't covered the Buffalo Bills. That'll be tomorrow. We cover the Miami Dolphins tonight, and if you want to break down all the teams, obviously, we're going team by team, division by division. If you miss any of them, you can always go back and hear all of our thoughts on the BetMGM Tonight podcast. Subscribe, like, download the BetMGM podcast wherever you get your podcast. So let's go ahead and get after it with the Miami Dolphins, a team, again, that was really a sorrowful performer last season. There were high expectations, a ton of speed, elite speed on this team. Tyreek Hill had a step back. Tua thankfully stayed, mostly healthy last year, but a bit of disappointment for him. The breakout star was Devon Achane. We're going to see what he can do coming off that high illustrious campaign and whether he can build on it. A lot of fantasy football fans believe he will. And one of the other breakouts is Jonnu Smith, who is still the subject of trade rumors out of Miami. Maybe go to Pittsburgh, maybe not. Gets hot, it gets cold. That's kind of the story, the name of the game this time here when it comes to the trade winds is swirling and some of the NFL marketplaces as the summer months begin to heat up. So let's start off with Tua Tagovailoa. Right now, his ADP at Best Ball 10, quarterback 20 in drafts conducted over the past couple of weeks, 143.40 overall. So, PJ, I ask you the honor question here. Is Tua at quarterback 20 overvalued, undervalued, or properly valued?
I think he's got to be a little bit undervalued, Brad. You're obviously not going to get the rushing with Tua, right? Which is unfortunate because in this day and age, there are a lot of mobile quarterbacks. But with the offense that he's in with McDaniel and with how good he is at home throughout his career, and then the weapons that he has on offense. I mean, with Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, Devon Achane, you throw any three of those guys the ball in open space, they're taking it from 10 yards to 80 yards to the house, right? So while you don't get the rushing with Tua, while there is obviously concern always about his health, even though he has been much better with that here as of late, I think just because of the weapons, even though Hill isn't the player he quite once was, Waddle, it still feels like we're waiting for him to really break out. I think because of the system they're in and the skill position talent and the fact that Miami's always got a couple games in them every year where they score 40, 50, maybe even 70 points like we saw against Denver last year, I'll go that he's slightly undervalued. To me, Tua feels like closer to quarterback 15 than he does quarterback 20 in fantasy.
All right. You know what? I am going to say he is properly valued. I have him exactly at quarterback 19 right now at thegamingjuice.com, which you can access for free right now. Go to thegamingjuice.com and see all of my fantasy football rankings position by position. But the breakdown to Mike Clay at ESPN's got it predicted for 4,068 passing yards, 24 passing touchdowns, 12 INTs, 93 rushing with 1 rushing touchdown. Exactly quarterback 19. Last season, he was number 13 in fantasy points per game in just 11 games. He was incredible in terms of the accuracy, 72.9% completion rate. He had the 19 touchdowns. He was number 1 in true completion percentage, according to playerprofiler.com. Number 3 in red zone completion percentage, outstanding there. Number 1 in under pressure completion percentage. And number 2 in play action completion percentage. Again, he was an accurate passer. I just have concerns about his health. That's the bottom line for me. He is one, bell ring away from maybe retirement. He's been concussed so many times, dangerously so in his career. You can worry about the motivations of Tyreek Hill. Is he going to, resemble the player that we saw from a couple of years ago? Really took a step back last year. Achane's great. Defense should be at least decent, but I think they're going to be below average. That's a concern, but then again, that could increase his pass attempts. I just think, given the risks involved injury-wise to a quarterback 19 feels exactly right. So again, I'm going to say properly valued. All right, let's go to the speedy Devon Achane. RB6, 16.65 is the ADP at Best Ball 10s the last couple of weeks. Is he overvalued, undervalued, or properly valued, PJ?
Yeah, I think he's slightly a touch overvalued, Brad. I think A-Chain's maybe like 8, running back 8, maybe 9, somewhere in that neighborhood. Now, I had him on my fantasy team last year, loved him. He was terrific. Obviously, dual threat, right? Good runner, but also terrific receiving back, which is why he's thought of so highly. Really a touchdown machine. And what's great about A-Chain, even though, Miami with McDaniel in that Shanahan system, he is going to work multiple backs in there. A-Chain obviously is going to get majority of the touches. He's got such great breakaway speed. Every time he touches it, he's always a threat to score. I just think that, at 6, off the top of my head, right? Like, I can just think of certain running backs, and it's like you think Gibbs and Barkley and Henry, and maybe you throw Jacobs in the conversation. It's like you're running out of room, and you're already at like 5 and 6, and it's like I think A-Chain's maybe more so probably at running back 8 or 9 than he is at 6. So I'm going to go slightly overvalued there on Devon A-Chain.
I concur, Captain. I think he's slightly overvalued as well. My picking order right now at thegamejuice.com: Bijan Robinson, Saquon Barkley, Ashton Genty at RB3, Jahmyr Gibbs at 4, Christian McCaffrey, fingers and toes crossed, at 5, Derrick Henry at 6, Josh Jacobs at 7, and then A-Chain at 8. And I think that's about right. Mike Clay's got him at RB5, though, projecting him for 863 on the ground, 8 rushing touchdowns, 64 receptions, and that is a key difference maker for him. His value in PPR, 485 yards and 3 receiving touchdowns. Last season saw 59.1% of the team opportunity share. A guy that was number 28 in YAC per attempt, 31 though in missed tackles forced. Subpar advanced analytics, but he was number 7 in yards created per touch, and he finished at RB6. I don't know if he's going to duplicate it. Again, I think he's slightly overvalued as well. Outstanding, still at RB1. I just have him a little bit lower. I would take a Derrick Henry, a Josh Jacobs, a CMC ahead of him. All right, let's move on. Tyreek Hill. Is it going to be Tyreek the Freak? Yet again, wide receiver 15, the ADP at 33.66. Drafts conducted the last couple of weeks. Overvalued, undervalued, or properly valued, PJ?
Yeah, I think Tyreek's also, I think he's overvalued, Brad, here, wide receiver 15. Now, he's still got the game-breaking speed. I just think when you're 15th, right, you got to be consistent. And I just don't think Tyreek is that anymore. He's going to still get you weeks where he goes off, where he might get you 25, 30 fantasy points. He's also going to have some weeks where he only gets you 4 or 5, right? So when you're talking wide receiver 15, you're there in like the 3rd, 4th round, which is probably where Hill is going to go nowadays. I just like to see a little bit more consistency. And because of that, I think he's closer to like probably the early 20 range, maybe the late teens. I'm going to go overvalued on Tyreek Hill is where the consistency with Hill, I just think isn't there anymore like it once was.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you, but I think he's slightly, ever so slightly undervalued. I got him at wide receiver 14 right now. Okay. Clay's got him projected for 84 catches, 1,068 and 6. He's got him at wide receiver 13. Feels about right, honestly, to me. I think he's still got one more really good season left. Before maybe he retires and has, a dozen more kids. Who knows? Number 15 in total air yards, number 10 in total red zone targets. He was only number 33 in total YAC last year, but number 13 in route win percentage. So again, those are some still really solid advanced metrics. I mentioned elite speed. The guy could probably still outrun Usain Bolt. It seems like he can. So for me, Tyreek Hill, wide receiver 15, 33.66, slightly undervalued. How about Jonnu Smith? Is he going to get traded to Pittsburgh? I don't know. Nobody knows. But anyway, right now, still with Miami. TE6 is the ADP, 93.79. So again, PJ, overvalued, undervalued, or properly valued?
I think he's properly valued, Brad, especially nowadays with the tight ends and what we saw out of fantasy football last year, right? So many guys towards the top that were really disappointing. Sam Laporta just killed me in so many leagues. But Jonnu was one of the few bright spots, had a really good year. If he stays in that Dolphins offense, I think he's really going to flourish. If he goes to Pittsburgh, potentially, and, Rodgers is throwing to him or Mason Rudolph, whoever it ends up being, I think he'll be good in that system as well, kind of helping out Freiermuth over the middle of the field. But tight end 6 feels right about Jonnu. Maybe it's a little bit of an overreaction over last year, but he really does have the skill set. I mean, he was really good for them. Feels like such a great target in the red zone. Going to get a lot of touchdowns if he's a Dolphin this season. So I think 6, Brad, is a great number for him. I think he's properly rated.
I'm going to say slightly overvalued at 6. I got him a tight end 9. Again, I think he's going to be a firm tight end 1. I just prefer a couple of guys ahead of him. Clay has got him forecasted for 66 catches, 692 and 4. Pretty strong advanced metrics profile from last year. 6.5 targets per game, number 13 total air yards among tight ends, number 5 in total red zone targets, number 4 in total yak, and a 123.9 quarterback rating when targeted. That was fantastic, but I still feel he's slightly overvalued. All right, let's fly through the prop stop. Let's go with Tua Tagovailoa first. Over or under, PJ, 23.5 passing touchdowns, minus 115 on the over, minus 115 on the under. What say you?
Man, 23.5, that's a good number. I'll go over for Tua, actually. I'm hoping that he stays healthy. Again, he usually has like 1 or 2 big games in him where he can throw like 4 touchdowns, maybe even 5 touchdowns. I think he has about 25, 26. So I'll go over for Tua passing touchdowns.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think it's going to be in that 24 to 26 range. So slightly over, though. I don't feel ultra confident this is going to cash, again, because of the injury downside. How about Devon Achane? I had to make this up because there was no number available. Over under 845.5 rush yards. What do you say?
Well, if he's running back 6 in fantasy, Brad, I'm hoping he's going to get us 1,000, right? So as long as he stays healthy, should go over this number, 845.5. I'm going to go over on that one.
Yeah, I'll take the over. But again, Worley makes his hay, I think, as a pass receiver.
Yeah.
I would love to see a receptions prop. Unfortunately, not posted. Jalen Waddle over under 3.5 touchdowns. Haven't talked about him. Minus 115 either way.
I like the over just because I want to see the touchdown celebration, right? We can't have enough waddling all over in the end zone. So I think he gets us 5 or 6 this season. I'll go over on Waddle. 3.5 feels too low.
Yeah, it's way too low. A minimum of 4. I know he was number 44 in total red zone targets, but he'll cash the over there. All right, last on the team lean, over or under 8.5 wins. On the over, plus 130. The under at minus 155. Go.
I'm really down on the Dolphins this year. I'm going under 8.5.
Yeah, I am too. Subpar roster construct, despite all the speed they have on offense. I'm going to take the under, though I hate the juice here at a minus 155. All right, we got to take a little siesta here on BetMGM Tonight. When we come back, we're reviewing our cards. Stick around. This is BetMGM Tonight on the BetMGM Network.